Have you ever wondered if vampires and humans could actually live side by side? No masquerade, no hiding, just a city where both walked the streets together. Sounds impossible, right? But once, the Brujah claimed they made it happen. That city was Carthage. Yes, the Carthage in the world of darkness, at least. You probably know the real history. It was a huge city-state in North Africa that went toe-to-toe with Rome until Rome finally wiped it off the map in 146 BCE. That's the human side. In Vampire the Masquerade, Carthage wasn't just another city. It was this bold social experiment run mostly by the Brujah clan. The Brujah were the philosophers and rebels of vampire society. They had this big idea. Maybe vampires and humans didn't have to live in constant fear of each other. Maybe they could actually share a city, work together, and not let it all devolve into tyranny. For them, Carthage was proof that such a dream could exist. They even called it the Third City, as if it was the successor to the mythic first two vampire civilizations. But, and there's always a but, not everyone tells the story that way. The darker version goes something like this. Carthage wasn't a utopia at all, but a blood-soaked cult playground. The Brujah founder, Troil, supposedly got mixed up with a vampire named Moloch from this creepy bloodline called the Baali. The Baali are basically infernalists. They worship dark powers and demand sacrifices. Under Moloch's influence, Troil got more brutal, feeding not just for survival but for pleasure, even sacrificing humans in grisly rituals. If you believe that version, Carthage was rotten to its core. This, of course, gave Rome's vampires all the justification they needed to step in. The Roman Kindred, especially the Ventrue clan, who loved order and control, declared Carthage dangerous and corrupt. They built alliances with other clans, gathered their armies, and when Rome burned Carthage in the real world, vampires were waging their own shadow war. The city's vampire prince was killed. Troil and Moloch were defeated and entombed under the ruins, and Carthage was salted into the ground, both literally and mystically. For the Brujah, this was the heartbreak that changed them forever. Some say their reputation for being hot-headed and quick to frenzy really starts here, with the trauma of losing their dream. From then on, they carried a grudge against the Ventrue, the suits who crushed their vision, and against the Baali, who they blame for corrupting Troil. But Carthage never quite dies in the imagination. Later vampire societies, like medieval Constantinople, tried to recreate the dream of coexistence, and failed just as spectacularly. And in modern nights, some Brujah anarchs still point to Carthage as proof that vampires and mortals can live differently, without the chains of the Camarilla. On the flip side, rumors say something ugly is still stirring in the ruins, that maybe the wards holding Troil and Moloch are weakening. So what does Carthage mean in the vampire world? It's a symbol. For some, it's a lost paradise that proves freedom is possible. For others, it's a cautionary tale about what happens when idealism gets corrupted by darker appetites. Either way, it shaped the Brujah's rebellious identity, fueled their ancient rivalry with the Ventrue, and left a scar on vampire history that still matters. So what do you think? Was Carthage a shining utopia destroyed by jealous rivals? Or a cult-ridden nightmare that deserved to fall? Share your theory in the comments. I want to hear your take on the truth of Carthage. If you enjoyed this dive into the lost dream of Carthage, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter in the world of darkness.